We will now connect you to your call. Please say your name. Your host has yet to join. Thank you for waiting. We will now connect you to your call. The host has joined the conference. Conference recording started.
Good morning. Influencing people. Yeah, I do. Okay. You have the folders in front of you, sir? I do. Here, I'll give you the big green one. Yeah, while I settle in. That's like the money one. Tom, I'll give you a couple. Wow. Oh, fine. Look at this.
Does somebody have the accurate time so I can finish this?
It is 9:02. According to Verizon, it's 9:02. I noticed we have a bulldozer. I don't think I've ever seen the bulldozer out. Obviously, the job was bigger than they. Never seen it before, huh? Actually, I saw the guy in there with the excavator the other day, stripping the topsoil off. Yeah. Some really nice topsoil out there. Yeah, we had him put it all out back. I'm gonna blame our employee, Ms. English, for this, or actually give her credit for it. Sometimes that can be blamed. Yeah, exactly. So, what came about was a suggestion apparently by Glenn to extend an area out there for parking for the staff. When I went out and I saw what they were doing, cool. Yeah, it just looked like a little further over. Yeah. Put down some crushed gravel, and we could at least get the employees' cars for the most out of the parking lot proper, and there'd be more room for the public, and it might just be a little less dings and whatnot on cars. Just seemed like a good idea, so I asked Ron what it would take, and it didn't look like it was a big deal. So some of the office staff suggested that they would be in favor of that. I just said, oh, what the heck. Probably a worthwhile idea, so I kind of made an executive. Is you coming in by QuickBooks, or is it always done that?
It's not coming in by QuickBooks, they're saying you can pay by QuickBooks.
Paid by QuickBooks, good. Thank you, ma'am. Audrey and I have been having a lot of fun with QuickBooks lately.
I have a 1:30 meeting with Brian on QuickBooks today.
Oh, that's good. Gender. Oh. short order. That's off, Bailey Road.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. The, Eversource with the street light stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going somewhere. I'm gonna hold one item out of the mail folder because it's gonna require a signature, so it's probably a signature folder item. It is the bond for the Evans Brothers plowing. Everybody good with that? Yeah, I figured I'd let you guys see that. I was gonna come back. Thank you, sir.
Property tax payments can be paid online. Happened to be cruising around there on Thursday night when I saw it on the internet.
On the internet, can you believe anything you read on that?
It was on the town website. Yeah, I would say I'd give it that.
You're gonna run with that, okay?
Where is Glen Avenue?
Up Bailey Road. It is part of a series of roads out there that are paper roads, because they only exist on paper for the most.
So is this one of them?
That one actually leads into it. I don't think it was ever fully constructed.
Yeah.
And then, there's a lot of development out there that never took place. There's no vested interest, but it's still on the books from the, I believe it was the twenties.
So it's a town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Part of the Effingham subdivision, that I think, 1922, 1929.
Okay. So with this street line request, it's not our responsibility then, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You have it in a nutshell.
All right, that's where I was going.
Yes, that's what Tom was asking, and that was what we were gonna address. Well, John, you have gotten to it.
Chris, when you get a chance at some point, can you just make a copy and put that in my box, so that was so fun?
Yes, I can do that for you right now, Mr. Howard.
Right now.
No, that's fine, I'm just waiting.
Right. Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm special. That's why I'm asking you. It's just the font.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right. I like it.
Still gonna have a healthy payment.
Too much trouble. Well, that's what's fine. I haven't seen it. What is that? The first time I've seen it, I'm like, yeah.
Well, it's when Audrey pays it out of QuickBooks, that's the report that can be printed to supplement the actual payment.
Nice. Huh.
Not paying it out of QuickBooks until we figure out we can pay it out. That's a link to pay it out.
Okay,
I'm not doing it that way yet.
right. Correction, but you're printing our invoices off that way.
Chris prints mine.
Yeah, I believe they send paper copies too. So it might be something new they're doing.
So that's coming from them, not us.
Right.
that your personal stuff?
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Oh, okay. Sir? Seem to be straddling the polycom wire here, so very still.
Hi, Dave.
Good morning, Chairman Strauss.
You think you're missing one?
Maybe not.
I don't think so. Yes.
So where's the
Has anybody, Chris, have you been in touch with Mark about the, tire delivery? I guess that's already taken place.
Oh, yeah, that's all done, yeah.
Right, not yet.
I'm testing the recording with someone on it so that I can see when I look at the recording how you look.
Oh,
You know, 'cause I think what you're seeing up there isn't what's recording. I think just you are recording,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not sure. If you see me twice, double vision.
That's okay.
pretty long.
One of the things I'd like to do this year is make sure that we have the assessing contract fully paid off by, the end of December, because they tend to bill us a month behind. We just wanna make sure it comes in on this year's budget.
So what is that, a phone call with them saying, hey, get your bill in early?
Either that or make the contract payment
Make it
in December,
perfect, that works.
at least the contract claim is what, you know, if we get some other residual labor.
You had also wanted me to, transfer some money from one account line item to the carryover from last year for the assessing.
Right,
And the next two payments will utilize those funds.
oh, okay. So you'll have the 5. Super, thank you. So Audrey, we probably are going to need to establish, if you don't have it, a list of, trust funds that we're going to request money, items from the trustees. There's a few items, just not a lot. And that milfoil for, $1,153.60. That is one of them, in case you didn't know that. I have a feeling you did know that, but. we totally blew our generator budget with this last go-around.
It looks like there was a service and repair that doesn't get factored into the cost.
Yeah, it looks like there's a general repair they show up for. I guess, if you were gonna be working on the unit,
We have a heater installed?
yeah, the block heater gets put in.
That was additional money. Yeah, we did, that's not a, but with the way we've set that line item up, we don't allow for any
Right.
repairs. Something breaks down, just normal maintenance.
So. I think, next year's budget will probably, well, not this budget, I think we'll probably survive. But the following year, I think we're going to have to be harder.
$500 for repair maintenance.
Certain things are gonna need to.
They charge you some trip charge too?
Well, it's, a scheduled service maintenance, it looks like you do certain functions for a price, and that price gets charged even if they come up to do other services. Sometimes you have an offset on that, they don't charge for that standardized price because they're doing, I don't know, I don't have all the details of what they were factoring in, so I don't wanna make it out like it's, you know, they weren't doing exactly what they were supposed to. Yeah.
It was really designed to help you with your view tax discussion. It was a beautiful view, I mean, panoramic, it was like. Yeah, I appreciate the draft.
That, invoice, Audrey, from HEB, that went on to the planning board, I believe, the 4,100. It was a 3,100 for professional services for them, and then we got a bill for like $428 to go on that 31.
You have to send the planning board. One of my questions is, I talked to Teresa this morning, and I guess I don't know what you call them, customer, applicant, whatever they're doing, the property owner sent us a check for $4,100. And I'm wondering, like, where I would find that and where the revenue lines are for the various departments, like the, $390 for the library. You know, it doesn't go back into that line item because it's income, it's a deposit.
No,
So how do I reconcile that?
well, we have two sides. We have a revenue stream that is independent of our budget versus actual. So you have to stream in and money out. So that $4,100, although it's showing up as an expense for the planning board, would have just gone into the general fund, and we pay HEB for doing reviews of the applicant's needs, I guess. So if there's an unspent portion, we would rebate that, back to, refund it back to the applicant at the end of this process. Other than that, it just goes into, the general fund, just like any monies that would be paid for advertising and other expenses for an application. If maybe an application's $100, and there's, advertising fee and a butter fees, that all comes in as a revenue, and that gets picked up off our budget. The actual, we just chip down what we've allotted for those processes. So as far as the revenue side, we'll have to get into that, and it's just like anything else that comes down.
So chipping it down to make sure that, we don't exceed the expenditures, is a manual process.
I think we can, after the meeting, go in and work out how that flows, because I'm usually not involved too much with that, because the money comes in from so many different sources, Christine and others in Deanna, and that comes in to you as checks to you, that gets put into the treasurer or for a deposit to Deanna, and her office will do for us. It gets captured somewhere in some kind of reconciliation or a revenue stream. Like I said, it's separate from the budget versus actual that we typically deal with here. It's more of a behind-the-scenes thing in the office, so I figure we can, after the reading, kind of go in and find how that's being processed in the office. Christine, you probably have some. You can probably add to that conversation, I would assume. Just because I can't fully explain it to you here, just going to shift it for later. But we'll get to the bottom. We'll get to the bottom of that one. And Dave's around, so he'll be right there with on this. Okay, that's that one. So it looks like the Evans brothers have been getting around town to kind of clean up some of the potholes and grading issues. It looks like they've been stringing up as they do. They're obviously out back putting in the better driveway situation for the police department. We can kind of stop the process of driving over the beach field. All right, I think I've got through here. And with that, we can go into our agenda. I will make a motion to approve the manifest in the amount of $82,401.26. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please?
All right.
Aye.
Alan, aye. Okay, we have, the minutes of November 10th, regular meeting minutes. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Fuller second, and edit too.
And I was gonna say, any discussion?
Under Fuller comments, Chris Garcia is from Comeau Construction Management. I asked Chris to put that in there.
Sure.
And will be assisting with project schedule 4, not grants, but contractor proposals and construction oversight. So she has those 2 edits.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me. Tom, do you have anything?
I have one edit.
Oh, Hubby.
Under the assessing, when English, we're not giving refunds to 84 residents, we're giving refunds for abatements. I don't want 84 residents to anticipate getting refunds.
Okay, so,
So how do you want that to be?
Refunds or abatement,
Or abatement?
yes.
I would go with abatements, because that's technically what I believe they were, correct?
Well, 65 of them were refunds that were, in the manifest, so it was actual checks cut. Abatements are different.
Okay.
That covers it. Umbrella approach.
All right then. Anyone else? So, do we have a second on that? Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, and with that, full of seconds. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Al and I, moving on. Let's see, in the signature folder, we had a couple of things here. We had the, performance bond for Evans Brothers here, which is for the winter plowing contract. I'll make a motion to accept this. Do I have a second?
Full second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Al and I, with that, I will sign the agreement. Ready.
And do we usually post that up on the website? Okay.
Regular business. There's a scant few people that, this seems to draw some attention from, but it's pretty perfunctory. At that point, we'd be every insurance certificate, and at some point that website gets jammed.
Yep.
There we go. And so, let's see. What else it was listed under there was, tax collectors, abatement, it looks like, for the assessor for the Fairpoint Communications, and, the assessing office abatements or refunds are in there as well, I believe, from Avatar. So then we have on to our review of the mail. Zoning officer's report has come in, as is a practice now. Becker is working primarily remotely. And the Evans Brothers performance bond, we did. Letter of gratitude from the Freedom Food Pantry was in there, and can't say enough about their services. 351.
Yeah, that was the election day collection of food when people came in to vote. They dropped off food. There were 351 items, which is a new record for the town.
And I think some of those items might be like multiple packs of, you know, a dozen of this or 2 dozen of that, or shrink wrapped in a case forms. Pretty much a very needed thing right now. We have a request for Glen Ave, a sign. The realities of that is Glen Ave is a private road, and I think there used to be a sign out there, so there's a strong possibility the town may have given the one sign for that kind of thing, and I think that typically happens. This is part of the Effingham subdivision. It was either in 1922 or 1929. It eludes me right now. So I'm afraid that sign is probably up for the folks that down there on Glen Ave. I don't think that road has actually ever been completed because it goes through a series of incomplete roads, or what is referred to as paper roads. Let's see, Elm Street, the closing on Elm Street due to a late start. The crew couldn't get here on Monday. Veterans Day came in, so we got backed up a little bit, and at this point, they're pretty much done with the work outside of the curing process, I think is what's going on. So it will be open at some point on Wednesday. The contractor guaranteed me that, and I would shoot for Wednesday afternoon to be safe, and we can open the road. Sorry for the delay. Now we'll shoot down to the town administrator, Ms. Treasurer's comment section.
We met as a team, all the women in the office last week, and we talked about during freezing days having people come into the foyer here. And what we thought would be hopefully acceptable would be to use the ropes that Deanna used for the election, keep people going directly from the door to the other door. We'd keep this one closed. So parking out back is great if any of us needed to leave or go to the other building. We would have to find hours, so the people in the building would know that, we want to use the restroom prior to opening to the public for a couple hours. So it would be very specific hours, only one person at a time in the foyer, and keep it very, very controlled compared to Deanna and Leslie going outside tomorrow when it's 30 degrees.
Is it by appointment only?
Yes,
Okay.
appointment only.
Good.
And so we will define it and write it up clearer and have very specific hours for appointments.
Good.
And what about non-appointment traffic? How is that to be handled?
Oh, they have to ring the bell, so we will have signage on the door.
We seem to have a lot of signage on the door, if I'm correct.
I was looking at that and I think it needs cleaning up, so things that aren't applicable.
It looked a little busy if you're going to really try and get somebody's attention.
Exactly.
I thought it was a new bulletin board.
Well, we get desensitized, at least in this town. I'm sure it's the same in other towns, to signage after a while. I think that's just human nature, so. Yep. Great. Anything else? Really? Hey, Mr. Hart, why don't you take a...
Alrighty, yes, still working on wrapping up the lights and the street signs, so, waiting for, street light update from Eversource. Chris has been on that, working on that. And I got the list down pretty much now for, hopefully, non-safety lights, and I just wanted to run it by Lieutenant Joe on the safety concerns on that, with which ones are gonna be off, is that gonna be an issue? If he thinks it'd be an issue, I think he's around town more than anybody, so they know on that. Also gonna put a final push on for the Boston Post cane in December, so we can get that all lined up for the presentation at the March town meeting. So we could see some action on that in December. Just be looking for it, if you know anybody. Delinquent taxes this week, $361,226.
Wait a minute. Want to repeat that one?
$361,226.
And that's down from last week at what?
Almost $140,000 now.
Fantastic.
That, well, I think that pretty much guarantees that we're going to get through the month of December paying all the town's bills without being dependent on the tax revenues from the December billing. And with that, I can see ahead out of my provisional vision shaking up and down there, which would be chairman of the budget committee, Mr. Strauss. You confirm that that's an accurate statement, sir? And I think this probably will make you happy.
Make everybody happy.
Wonderful. That is really good. Super.
Superb.
And off.
All right.
All right, I made some of the edits to the personnel policy last week, distributed that, and I reset the the page link. Audrey did make some comments this morning that this is the first time she's had to see it. She has a number of comments, so, I think we need a work session on that, to just pound down through that and, see what's going on there.
I hadn't printed it off, and I've been consumed with some other things. And it did look like some, well, I didn't mean that was necessary, but I'll take it. But yeah, it looked like some of the stuff we had talked about before had come back into it, but I could be mistaken, so yeah, the work session would be good. Certainly we'll, welcome Audrey's input on that.
All right, next item, I worked over the weekend on the Historic Town Hall press release for the upcoming announcement of our grant, and put that out, and I was happy to find out that the union leader wants to do a story on it, on the library town hall project. And, the Conway Sun is following up today, so later today I'm talking to two of the news media on that item. On the Historic Town Hall website, historiceffingham.org, we have a new, video cam shot, so when you go into it right now, it was a shot we took last winter over sunset. This new one was a fall drone shot where it's a sunrise as well as the foliage and everything else around the building. It's actually a pretty neat video.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Just wanted to touch on, we had, you had provided, a picture before of the town hall, and it was set in an autumn setting, and it was just at the time of day when sunrise was coming up, so it had some shadows in it.
That's actually come out, yeah.
But you had, alluded to that you would have another shot potentially, like a noon time, same kind of, same day, same setting or whatever,
They
maybe different
did
day.
the shot at sunrise for about an hour and 20 minutes on that day. But our goal is to basically about every 6 months to get them back in there, so we end up having a library of different footages we can put up on the site, so people can see the winter time, they can see the spring, they can see the summer, they can see the fall, and then you see what the entire building looks like during those change of seasons.
Well, I guess what I'm focusing, which is good, what I'm focusing on is, the potential to get the shadows out of that basically same picture, because you had mentioned you thought maybe we could do a color, cover for the town report this year.
Oh, yeah.
So is that?
Actually, one of the shots that came out of this drone shoot, it's an aerial view looking, if you're basically on Townhouse Road below the building, kind of over on across the street where the neighbor's property is, the house further down Townhouse. It's actually a sky-high shot, probably 300 feet looking down at the building. Full building, full color behind it, the whole bit. So it's a pretty neat picture. But there's also some other pictures he's got in there. So I can basically ask him to do a couple more stills, and we'll come up with a good color picture for them.
Hey, you want to
Cover.
That, oh, yeah. Now, is this someone you hire out with drones?
Yeah, the same company that designed the website, they're Harbor Strategic Marketing, Harbor Light Strategic Marketing out of Portsmouth. They've done the Strawberry Bank website. They do a number of church and other nonprofits.
Nice.
They also literally themselves do the drone shoot. So we had them up at sunrise.
Right.
It was pretty,
Good.
it was pretty cool. It was a neat day. The Effingham Preservation Society held a bake sale last week. Raised over, it's an online auction bake sale. Mr. Hart and I typically are bidding against each other for the same food, but
like the Yankees and Red Sox, you guys.
So we netted out over, Karen Payne managed it. She netted out over $900 from the sale.
Nice.
That is the first fundraiser for phase 2 of the Historic Town Hall project. So we're off to a pretty good start on that. And
You know when the next one is? I got skunked on this last one.
We've identified the Red Sox.
We would like to do one during the winter. The issue we're going to have is we're going to need to find a place where we can drop stuff off that's that's in a heated building of some kind. So I'm going to check and find out if the library would be amenable to allowing us to use the front door area to do that. We could potentially use the library to do that pick up and drop off. So we could do something in January or February, but it'll be announced, and we'll make sure you know, Tom, so you can start bidding against me.
That's saving.
I'm meeting with Chris Garcia from Cobalt Construction Management Thursday morning down at the library. He's meeting 2 or 3 contractors down there to gather updated proposals and get ready for the LCHIP grant documentation requirements that I have to submit by December. The library this weekend came into some information they're going to follow up on. It was a case where people were talking about maybe updating some of the office furniture and technology, and it came to light that because of COVID, a lot of major corporations are downsizing. They're literally closing offices, and they're just getting rid of all their equipment because they haven't got a way to dispose of it. So they have companies that come in and just take it off at huge discounts, and then it's sold at huge discounts. So they're actually going to take a look into that. So as the information comes in, I'll gather it, you know, from our standpoint, and see if there's anything we might want from the town office or a police station or whatever. So we'll check it from them. So it's office furniture as well as computer technology.
Nice.
So that comes in, I will take a look at that. At the transfer station this weekend, I had a chance to talk to an individual that felt that commercial waste was acceptable waste in the transfer station, so we had a discussion on why it's not. And I have got a copy of the policy, which he's gonna pick up when he's into the transfer station next. But I think it's one of those cases to just reiterate, folks, the transfer station, if you are running any kind of business, family-owned business of any kind, or other commercial enterprise of any kind, because family-owned business is commercial, those kinds of things cannot be brought to the transfer station, and the attendants are going to be looking for patterns of people that are bringing the same stuff in every single week, where they're known to run their own individual businesses, and they'll have individual discussions with those people as they pop up.
Just on that, there's limited resources for the town to take in demo and such, and oftentimes people get turned away because we're over capacity. So that's one of the reasons we do that.
Yep. So I told this guy, I'd love to come up with a commercial solution. We just don't have the current capability to do that.
Right. And then, you know, down the road, we're looking to put some money in with the special revenue fund to make some improvements, and maybe the day will come, but it's still a ways away.
Yep. Good.
Thanks, sir.
And that's all I have for today.
Oh, okay. I again have a lot of calls and things to deal with this afternoon as well, so can't do a work session today, and going to want to get through what I have pretty quickly. So I do.
Set a date for one. I can direct you set a date now for a work session.
We can try that. That sounds like a reasonable, right?
So I don't forget it.
Can do it on, what's that, Thanksgiving Day? Family's not coming this year.
Oh, you don't have your 69 people coming?
Yeah, turkey sandwiches.
Nice.
Let's see, today, I think, is the 17th?
It is.
All day.
All right. Well, we can certainly shoot for the 24th as an extended meeting next week.
Yeah,
If that works.
We could do that.
Okay. So, we'll try to put a work session together. Hopefully we all can find time to follow up on all the things we know we need to be looking at. All right. That's taken care of, Tom.
Nice.
You had, Tom, provided some things that, what is it, brighter doesn't mean safer. I'm not sure where you got it, but I thought that was pretty informative when it went through some misconceptions on lighting.
Right.
And again, I think when you talk to Lieutenant Duchesne about the absolute need for lighting in certain areas, that this kind of reinforces what you're trying to do here, and I'm hoping that sooner or than later we can shut down a lot of these lights, because I think it's just a financial drain. It's unnecessary. Just in looking around at some of the lights that you had on the list, my time to look at them all.
And there's lights that actually cost a lot more than others.
Yeah.
You know, I got the breakdown here on that.
I think the sodiums are like in the expensive category.
Yeah.
Well, there's also kind of a light pollution thing too. I mean, some folks might really like the light, and the neighbor might not particularly like the light. I don't know, I'm one of those folks that I don't particularly like a big glaring light at night, but everybody's different. So I guess we're focusing on the safety of the road intersections and.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I got the closed ones that I think that we need to shut off. I got those all down, the full numbers. And, just like I said, I just wanna check it with Joe, they're the ones on the road more than anybody, and just make sure everything's good with them, and then I'll just make the call and get them off, the ones that I'll knock down on the list I gave you last week, right?
Yeah, flip the switch. Yeah, and then to any resident who feels that strongly that they would like that light back, they have an option to put their own light up, which is,
Yeah, I mean, one light's gonna, it all depends on what kind of light they put up.
right. Well, the overall savings at a glance and the numbers you would run, just by percentage, was gonna be roughly over $5,000 a year, thereabouts, give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, right now it's spending $650 just about a month
Right,
on lights.
and from last year, it's trending up.
Yeah.
All right, just thought I'd, touch on that because I know that that's going to generate some interest.
I had a question about it. If we have employee parking in the back, will we have a light back there?
You are really working against the goals.
Well, I left in the dark by myself last night, and I was saying, I kind of like that light across the street, and I think it's one slated to go. But if I was to walk out back at night, motion light would be nice.
We have some, there should be some lighting there right outside this back door, but I don't think.
It's not good enough for one.
Right, for a pilot. So I don't think it should be that big of a deal to, get to that. It may not get done this year. And the parking, as I envision it, will probably not service you well in the wintertime because of the nature of the plowing that we'll take back there. So, I would think come the spring, probably while the ground is soft, in which case you folks may not want to actually park there yet. Perhaps we can get a trench put in and, a light installed. So as long as you don't let that fall off the to-do list, I shouldn't think that should be a big, issue.
We have two of those big, powerful ones right across the street, and one shut off for a few years.
You got a shovel? Just,
That's I am.
okay.
Wear your jeans next week.
Yeah, I think we could manage to do something on that, if you just don't let us forget about it.
You won't.
With conviction. All right. Then, let's see what else I got here. I've got a receipt to put in, to the office, and I'll leave that with the files for, Mr. Boyd. A jacket for him for the transfer station, and, it was on sale actually, so there was a savings of $42 in the purchase. It was about 1/3 off, so I thought that was pretty good.
Got them big green stamps.
Green stamps, wow, you are old, old. A guy in his 80s, you look good.
I know that.
Let's see. There, not too much here. I've got a letter that I, put together, and once again, 670 Townhouse Road is, I didn't fix the date, has some, obstructions in the right-of-way in the form of 4 55-gallon drums, blue barrels, whatever you want to call them, and I understand they're filled with water, in which case those are going to freeze and be a potential road hazard and, a potential plowing issue for the snow plows. They're in the right-of-way, they're in front of the telephone poles collectively, and, I know that the property line, I believe, pretty comfortable with, is significantly beyond that, so, outside of having some edits and a review of this, which is now, with, the office, I figure you guys can say yay or nay as to whether to send this out, and again, it's pending, so it's just a rough draft.
Let it go.
Yeah. Okay. And, we'll work with, office staff on that one. Let's see, I think that for the most, may have covered everything for me today. Like I said, it's a busy day. Audrey, and I have been chipping away at a lot of the budget items, and we found, what looks to be, at least on the budget, some duplicate payments, not that a second check went out, just, it's
An accounting.
in accounting, little hiccups here or there. So we've been cleaning up, quite a few of those items, which, it'll help offset any other surprise purchase thing, like a generator bill that's higher than was expected. We'll be able to absorb that, when we put it into perspective with what we've been looking at on a weekly basis. So, with that, I guess that is probably it for me this week. So, anybody else have anything else?
You doing okay?
You all right?
It's only like 10 o'clock.
Still gonna have a non-public, I'm afraid, so if there is, we have, a few items on non-public. And then with that, I'll have to get the sheet to accurately capture that. Thank you, Mr. Hart.
I should probably stop recording.
Well, first, we're gonna go into non-public through a public vote.
Correct, yeah.
So, first, I just wanna make sure that nobody has anything else they need to discuss, including Chairman Strauss. Did you have anything you needed to bring up to the board?
No, you're just attending tonight because we get the boss reviews, right?
And by boss reviews, Dave is
Board of
shorthand. Shorthand for Board of Selectmen, okay. All right then, I'm looking to go into non-public session, which is under RSA 91-3A:3, Roman 2C. And I'll make that a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Al and I. With that, we'll take a 2-minute recess.
Conference recording stopped.
Okay, we're back.
All right, and with that, I'll make
Conference recording started.
let me rephrase that. I would like to make a motion to enter back into public session. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, with that, all in favor?
All right.
Cal and I. So we're looking to make a phone call to Consolidated Communications with Pascal, is it, Tom?
Mm-hmm. Pascal Coach.
Pascal Coates, okay. With that, we'll be discussing, well, I guess we should make the call and figure out what we're gonna.
I don't know actually if the whole board of selectmen needs to be on the call.
Oh,
They're just gonna give us an update of the schedule.
Yeah.
Perfect.
fine.
So did you ask the question about adding a phone in here?
I did.
She beat me to it.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second Mr. Fuller's motion to adjourn.
All right.
Cal and I, we are adjourned.
Thank you, folks.